The tax-free savings account may just be the most powerful wealth building tool Canadians have access to. Yet way too many use it incorrectly. And after 20 years as a financial planner, I've seen this one mistake come up time and time again that is costing Canadians hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I'm talking $500,000 in tax-free wealth, over $1.4 million in retirement income. And so in this video, I want to walk you through what this mistake is, what you can do to avoid it, and how you can make the most of your TFSA. When the tax-free savings account was introduced back in 2009, it was really marketed as a savings account. Again, it's called a tax-free savings account. And the big financial institutions pushed that. In fact, most institutions were pushing this account as a place to invest in a high-interest savings account. And back then, you're only getting 2 or 3% on your high-interest savings account. So we were building up a savings account that earned absolutely tax-free. This didn't really line up very well. And I always say from day one, the account should have been called a tax-free investing account. Unfortunately, it wasn't, and it's thrown a lot of people in a loop, and they're really uncertain what you can do with it. The reality is your tax-free savings account is probably the most powerful tool because every single dollar that it earns over time grows tax-free, and you can take it out tax-free down the road. Not only is that powerful while you're in the accumulation stage, you might be buying a house or helping kids or any type of an emergency, you can pull that money out without driving up your tax bill. And now fast forward to retirement, you now have a bucket of money that you can lean into without driving up your tax bill again. Climb back old age security or anything else that's going to cause a tax issue for you that otherwise could be avoided by utilizing your TFSA account in a proper manner. So what is this big mistake a lot of people are making? Well, it's using your tax-free savings account as a savings account and not an investing account. I want to jump into our financial planning software and show you two different scenarios that show you the impact that investing in a TFSA versus savings in a TFSA has. And I'm going to run through a 60-year-old Gen Xer, and I'm going to run through a 40-year-old couple, a millennial couple, and just show you the impact, both when you're in retirement or pre-retirement, the financial impact it can have on your income, your tax-free income, your estate planning, all of it. So it doesn't matter what age or stage of life you're at, utilizing your TFSA account in the right manner has a massive, massive impact on how much money you have in retirement or even pre-retirement. So the first couple and scenario I have here is Mr. and Mrs. Gen X, and this is a 60-year-old couple entering into retirement. Mr. X has a 200,000 RSP and 110 in his TFSA, and same for Mrs. So if we go back to the planning software here, again, I want to show you that Mr. and Mrs. Gen X have both invested their TFSA accounts here at a 6% rate of return. So RSP at 6%, TFSA at 6%. So they've invested it, they're growing it over time. And you can see here on the very right, the TFSA account growing at that 6%, and it's used as needed throughout the plan. I've done a bit of tax planning in this to try and create a proper, accurate scenario. Again, delayed CPP, draw down the RSP. So that TFSA account is being used as what we call a lever account. When they need more money, it's taken out of there. When they don't, it's put back in there. So it's used as this client would through retirement, but again, it's invested at 6%. Both Mr. and Mrs. have invested theirs at 6%. Now, when we look at a scenario like this, we have a total after tax in their pocket income from age 60 to 90. I've not laddered this income just for simplicity at $67,873. So based on Mr. and Mrs. Gen X investing their TFSA and investing their RSP in this manner, they're going to have just shy of $68,000. Now, what I want to do now is look at, well, what happens if Mr. and Mrs. Gen X didn't invest their TFSA, they used it as a savings account. So here's the exact same situation, except again, the TFSA is invested at 2.5%, which is a high interest savings account. And I get it. You might be able to find 3% on a promo now. We don't know what the rate's going to be down the road. So I've left it at 2.5%, which is also the inflation rate I have in here. So essentially, they're getting inflation on their rate of return around their TFSA. I've left the RSP at 6%, so it's just adjusting the TFSA account. And this is why I want to show the impact of investing your TFSA versus saving your TFSA. And the same thing for Mrs. So she has the same 2.5% rate of return. Now, when we look at a combined income, we're looking at a combined income of $65,429. So drastically different than almost $68,000 that they were collecting should they invest. So just by investing their TFSA through retirement, this isn't pre-retirement, this is from 60 onward. They're not putting really any money back into their TFSA. It's just they're taking that $110,000 lump sum TFSA they each have, and they're investing it versus saving it. And again, 6%, whether you think that's conservative, aggressive, I'm gonna leave it at 6% in this scenario. Obviously 5%, there'd be less of a gap. 8, 9%, there's more of a gap. More risk you take, probably more of a gap. In essence though, they're losing about $2,500 to $3,000 after tax adjusted to inflation for the next 30 years of their retirement. That's a massive difference. One of the outputs we provide to our clients when we build a retirement plan is this Excel spreadsheet, and it breaks down Mr. and Mrs. on the bottom, but the combined view, and we can see this nominal income every single year from age 60 all the way down to 90. Now, if I add it up in the savings example, this is the total nominal amount. So this is the actual money they're going to collect in their pocket after tax to spend for the next 30 years of retirement. It's just a hair over $3 million. So $9,000 over that $3 million threshold. If we look at Mr. and Mrs. Gen X on the investing side of things, you can see their nominal income is $3.122 million. Well over $100,000 more just by investing that TFSA versus savings in that TFSA. Everything else stays the same. So a drastic difference. So there's a 6-figure after tax in their pocket difference just by utilizing their TFSA and really in the manner it was meant to be. Now again, everyone's risk tolerance and strategy around their TFSA might be a little bit different. So make sure however you invest and however you use your TFSA aligns with your risk tolerance, risk capacity, and your overall retirement goals. Again, for Mr. and Mrs. Gen X here, their TFSA was their lever account. So they wanted to put some on the side, but they were able to put some into the long-term investing. They didn't need a lot of it for at least 3 to 5+ years. So again, they could take a little bit more risk with that TFSA. You might be different, which would change things. But for a lot of you, your TFSA account isn't being touched for many, many years. So if you're not using it for many years, you could potentially take a little bit more risk, or at least get it out of that savings account that it might be sitting in currently. Now let's take a look at a 40-year-old millennial couple. I know a lot of viewers are more 60, so again, I want to show you that, to show you, even if you're retired, utilizing your TFSA can have a drastic 6-figure impact even through your retirement. Well, what about if you're a bit younger and you're still accumulating in your TFSA? Let's see what that looks like for this 40-year-old couple. So here we have Mr. and Mrs. Millennial. Now, Mr. Millennial makes $60,000 a year, Mrs. makes $75,000. They both have no RSPs. They haven't built up RSPs. They haven't been making enough. Mrs. Millennial just got a raise, but they have been maxing out their TFSA every single year, and they built it up to $110,000 for each of them. And you can see, again, $0 RSP for Mrs. Millennial, but $110,000 in TFSA. Their goal is to max out their TFSA every single year and contribute a little bit to the RSP just to start building that up and getting a bit of tax benefit there. So as we can see, we're looking at Mrs. right now. She has her salary in there, $75,000 growing with inflation. She's maxed out her TFSA already for 2025. Now she's looking to put $3,000 or about $250 a month into her RRSP and continuing to max out the TFSA all the way to age 60 when they plan to retire. The same goes for Mr. Millennial. Again, $60,000 salary increasing with inflation, $250 a month RSP, and maxing out that TFSA account. Now, in this situation, they've been conservative with their TFSA. They've saved it at 2.5%. So it's in the TFSA account, but they've utilized that savings account. Their financial institution has convinced them that it's a savings account, not an investing account. And we can see, if we fast forward and look at a combined view, what are they going to have at age 60 when they retire? You can see it's about $70,248. That's after tax and adjusted to inflation. You can see their income leading up is right around that, floats between about $87,000 to $95,000 through their lifetime. So they're dropping from about $87,000 at age 59 all the way down to $70,000. It's not a massive drop. It's probably something that's very realistic for a lot of retirees, dropping from that 87 to 70 mark. But how much more would they have had if they had invested that TFSA over time, knowing time is on their side, building a bit of a nest egg. Let's see what that would come out to. So here are the only changes. We've changed the rate of return on the TFSA for both Mr. and Mrs. Millennial to 6% to match their RSP and have some long-term growth. Now, if we fast forward to age 60, retirement, you can see the income is drastically different. We're looking at $89,455, almost $20,000 every single year through retirement, adjusted to inflation for the rest of their life. That's a massive amount of money just by using their TFSA as an investing account versus a savings account. Obviously, we're assuming they average that 6% rate of return. There's obviously some assumptions we had to put into here, but you can see the difference between earning 2.5% versus 6%. Maybe it's difference between 2% and 8%, or 2% and 5%. The reality is you need to make sure your TFSA is actually working for you. It's invested. In the introduction, I talked about a $500,000 difference for your retirement if you use your TFSA properly. What I was alluding to there is this number right here at age 60. Investing in the TFSA is going to give this couple $1.287 million to enter retirement with regards to their TFSA account. Had they saved that money, they would only have $728,000. So there's your $500,000 difference, a little bit more than that, over time. And so again, compound interest on compound interest and making your money work for you. Now remember how I showed you the nominal income, total income in retirement difference on that Excel spreadsheet? Well, for this couple, it's even more obviously. We have more time on our side, there's compounding. So what's that difference look like? You can see in this situation where they have saved in their TFSA, not invested their TFSA, through their retirement, they have $5.295 million. That's the amount they're going to collect from age 60 to age 90 in nominal dollars after tax in their pocket. You can see here by investing it, that jumps up to $6.742 million. $1.5 million more in their pocket through retirement just because they made that wise decision to invest their TFSA versus saving on their TFSA. Now, what does it look like if we invested the TFSA, but we only needed the $70,000, that original savings plan? So yes, we have a lot more, but we only need 70. What does that mean for my estate? How much more will I have in my estate because I've invested my TFSA versus putting it into a savings account within my TFSA? You can see here the rate of return is, again, 6%. If I go combined view, what I've done is scale back the income in retirement to $70,248 to match the savings side. But you can see the total value of the TFSA at age 90, $3.752 million. That's the difference between investing your TFSA and not, had they needed the same $70,000 of income. That's a massive amount of money that you could help the kids out, charities, whatever you want to do with it. But that's money that you've earned and earn on itself now versus just wasting away in a savings account. So when we look at a direct comparison of saving versus investing for a millennial, you'll see if we assume the same income throughout retirement, you can see that the estate after tax is worth $3.7 million more in the investing versus savings. That's a massive difference. Now remember, you don't want to mindlessly invest in your TFSA just because you've watched a video like this and you're like, I want that investing option, not the savings option. Again, it needs to align with your risk tolerance, your risk capacity, your overall financial goals. You need to utilize the TFSA in the manner that best suits for you. But if you have the ability to look long-term and use that account long-term and you're able to invest it, again, sit down with your financial professional to figure out what your risk tolerance is and take advantage of the tax-free savings account the way it should be used, not the way that a lot of you are using it. And that's the point of this video. A lot of you have it in a savings account because it's called a tax-free savings account. How would you know any better unless you're told something different? So again, if you're able to use it as a tax-free investing account, I strongly encourage you, and I wanted to show you these numbers to show you the massive impact it can have. Like, it's not a couple dollars, it's hundreds of thousands into the millions of dollars depending on your age and how much you're able to save in there and the rate of return you can get on that investment. So it can be massively impactful both pre and during retirement. Now, if you're getting close to retirement and you're really not sure how to utilize it, how to draw it down, again, the decumulation phase of retirement is really how do we draw down all your accounts as well as your CPP and OAS and pensions and whatever you have. How do we do that tax efficiently? How do we make sure the most money goes back in your pocket and not CRA? How do you make sure you have efficient cash flow? You've planned ahead. And when it comes to your TFSA, that needs to be a part of that. So if you want to learn how to use your TFSA account properly and efficiently through retirement, check out this video here.